Hello, everyone. My name is Astral Flames. You already know that if you're here, but if you're new, welcome. I am primarily a Magic the Gathering arena streamer, and been often told I'm a very positive person. Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not. Depends on how I rage the game. But I wanted to bring a cool topic starting on Sundays called what I'd like to say is Motivational Sunday, presenting different topics to help you in your everyday from my personal experiences and how you can push forward in your goals. As you can see, my eyes look very tired. It's been a busy week working towards my own goals. Today's topic I really wanted to focus on is believing in yourself. What that kind of looks like, how it comes to be, and how that's going to relate to self-motivation. So, what does actually believing in yourself mean? The first step of that is defining what belief is for you, right? So, believing in yourself can range from anything of having confidence, having courage, pushing forward towards your dreams. Your definition of believing in you is what you're trying to strive for and what you want to achieve with it. So for me, when I believe in myself, for me, my definition of that is working and having confidence in order to achieve what I'm aiming for. Whether that be, in some cases, getting top decks in a video game, working towards completing a strong project at work, or just self-betterment in life. So last October, I suffered a pretty bad concussion from falling backwards in a bathtub after vomiting. Not the most exciting way to get a concussion or blackout for like 15-20 minutes. I don't actually know how long because I didn't check the time of when I passed out. But it happened. You know, I got up. I was like back in the tub, and like life happens. I hit my head pretty bad. I couldn't walk really well for like 6 weeks. So I had a wheelchair whenever I went to the hospital. I was at risk falling. But prior to that, back concussion, which I was throwing up because I was sick with like food poisoning. So it was like food poisoning, concussion, can't walk, and then come January when I started getting better, I sprained my ankle. It's just been a shit show of life for the last little bit. But prior to that, I did a lot of working out. For me, believing, like I said, comes in a lot of different forms. I'm a bit of a self-confidence person when it comes to certain regards, especially when cosplaying. I cosplay a lot. Normally, I don't cosplay as shirtless characters. I've always been a bigger person. Physical fitness was important to me, and I had been off and on it. So about 2 years ago, before this concussion incident, I weighed my heaviest. I was 260 pounds. I was not happy. I was not good, and yeah, you look at the scale, you see the number, and sometimes, certain people, it's fine to be whatever weight you want to be, but you have to be comfortable with how you look. I was not. That was not the me I wanted to be. That was not believing in myself that I could be who I wanted to be. How did you find the motivation? That, honestly, Game Dad, is a great question. So finding that motivation came from the belief that I wanted to get in me. There was a thing in my life I wanted to change. That change was my driving pressure to go forward. It wasn't just a simple thing I could change. It was something I wanted to push in the work and strive forward with. So if you're hit with a roadblock, let's say there's a thing in your life that you just absolutely want to stop, and you're just like, man, my life would be so much better if, like I could just go out and get $10 off the street. That would be cool. That may be something nice in your life to change, but it's not a driving motivation for you want to go forward. If you want to have a belief in yourself to push it forward, you dig deep into what that passion is for why you want that change. You rely on that passion, and that passion is what's going to give you the belief to get forward in personal experience. For me, my passion was I wanted to be comfortable with myself. I wanted to just get out there, be who I could be comfortable with who I am, aside from bubbly nature, and just push it. So it may sound conceited. Self-image was what drove me, but it was self-image in bettering myself to get to where I wanted to be, physically, and to enjoy more of what I love to do. So cosplaying in my life is a big aspect. I love making my own props. I love making my own costumes. I love going to conventions. I love hanging out with friends. It's a whole other lifestyle and things. And one of my favorite characters that I've always wanted to cosplay as was Kamina from the anime Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. Amazing series. If you're not into anime, totally cool. I understand. If you are, 100% watch it. The point I bring up about why Kamina was a big inspiration for me, and honestly, he was a big help in finding that, sort of self-belief and motivation, Kamina's biggest line that he always says to his friend in the anime Simone is believe in the you who believes in yourself. And that line sticks with me. If you're going to have someone believe in you, shouldn't the first person to do it be you? If there is change in your life, you want to succeed forward, should you not try and do it yourself? Even if it's a little change. If, like, let's say you wanted the motivation to just change your sleep schedule by 1 hour. That's still a change. That still requires a belief in you. You know you can do the change. You have to know it in you. You find the reason why you want that. It could be just as easy as saying, I just want to get up an hour earlier because I want more time in the day. That's fine. Then that's your reason. But maybe you want another reason to go forward. Maybe you want to get up in the next hour because you want to see the morning sunrise, to see just how the day is reflected in its brightness and illuminated by the brightness and light. That sounded repetitive. Maybe you just want to see it because it's a morning sight that's so beautiful it takes your words away. Maybe you want to switch up something. Maybe there's like a coffee. You just want 30 minutes of quietness to yourself in the morning to just enjoy a cup of coffee, a tea, a stare out to the window, and just take it in. There's different beliefs and motivations for everything you want to do. Like I said, for me, self-body image was a starting piece. The second was being able to be more comfortable in the characters that I cosplay and bring that sort of positivity and belief that they have as characters into a real-life fruition. So I mentioned about Kamina and his line of believing in the you that believes in yourself. Another line that he's very famous for in that anime is saying, if you don't believe in yourself, then believe in the me who believes in you. So if you don't have belief to start off in yourself, then have a friend, someone close to you. Could be completely anonymous stranger on Twitch, could be someone on Discord and online you've talked to for years, could be your best friend down the street. Talk to them about your dreams and passions, what motivation and belief you're looking for. Not only is it important to believe in yourself, but having someone close to you that believes in your same goal and your same motivation is also something. And that kind of ties into when you're wanting to do something that's not just for the betterment of you, but maybe the betterment of your life. And the reason I want to focus on those 2 points is because motivation and belief in yourself is honestly, quite metaphorically, a lot like a forest. So I'm going to show you here in just a sec a picture of a forest. It's behind me. So you'll see here a forest. Very bland image. You're kind of looking at it, you see like it looks cool, foresty green, trees are all around, looks nice, right? How does that tie in with motivation and personal belief? Well, picture yourself as one tree. You are a tree. You're growing bright. The sun is feeding you in energies. Your life's goal is to get as tall as can be. But that's not just it. You have roots growing beneath you. Your roots interact with all the other things around you. The other trees in the forest, the ground in there, and the earth, absorbing nutrients and water. There are many ways and things that influence you and how they're going to touch you. And if you picture every one of those trees as a person you've come in contact with in life, their roots are going to intersect with yours. You're touched by more people in different ways than you know. And those interactions are what can be additional ways to gain motivation in you. Because if you're trying for betterment of you, and let's say this forest here is a community, then not only are you bettering yourself, but you're helping things to betterment a community. And that's a strong thing. Because not only are you doing belief in what you want to get better at, but you're helping to bring a betterment to other people. You know, in engineering here, we have a phrase that Lady Godiva is our patron saint. For those that don't know, Lady Godiva, she was a royal lady, not a royal lady per se, but a duchess in a court. Her husband watched over town and imposed very heavy taxes on the townsfolk. She was very much against this. The people loved her. She would go out for days, talk to the people in the town, get to know them, like one-on-one interaction. She opposed the taxes that her husband was forcing on, and he made an agreement with her. If you stepped out naked, walked around town, I'll drop the taxes, won't raise them for the townspeople. And you know what she said? She said yes, but there's the clever thing to Lady Godiva. She went out the day before that she was supposed to go out naked, and she knocked on all the townsfolk and told them the next day, stay inside. For the sake of me and for the sake of you, stay inside on the next day. Next day come around, no one's outside. She walks around naked, no one sees her. Husband kept his word. She went out naked, didn't matter that anyone would see her, because no one was there, and he dropped the taxes. She purposely gave up a self-sacrifice for the betterment of things. That was her motivation. Right? And that's the kind of thing you can kind of achieve. It's motivation yourself to really push forward to achieve different things in life. Obviously, like I said, she's the good patron saint for engineers. We're all about the self-betterment of community. But if we kind of dive back to our topic, we're focusing also on self-belief, because that's ultimately where it has to start. I'll show you a quick photo here too. If you kind of look, this is Kamina. It's a bit of a backdrop. This is from a cosplay I did 2 years ago of him. After I had gone through like a year and a half of trying to lose weight to get fit. Currently, I'm going back through that struggle right now because, concussion, can't walk, sprained ankle, can't walk, can't do the gym. I gained more weight. But I work through it and I get it. And I was down in the dumpster, honestly, at a really sad time when I couldn't walk or do anything. Like, I'd walk 10 feet and honestly, I was about to pass out. So, as I mentioned, Kamina, the biggest line, like I said, believe in the you who believes in yourself. So, for me, when I was cosplaying this was a big tipping point to me. He is my favorite character. I was confident enough to finally cosplay as my favorite character from an anime and step out, and my photographer, I wanted to get this really beautiful shot that you see. Because what this picture symbolizes to me is looking over this world and what it can be and all the beauty that's in it and the ways and things you can do to change it. Anytime you look forward in life, you're going to see things that you maybe want to change, can kind of change, or can't change. You're going to see things you want to do, maybe things you can't do, and that's always going to get to you. And you're going to wonder, how can I get the motivation to do that? Like, let's say you want to try skateboarding. How do I get into skateboarding? I don't think I'm going to be really good at it. Well, you know what? If you're serious about it, go out and buy a skateboard. Try it. Buy a $20 skateboard and try it in your area, on a pavement, or somewhere you can do it. And just try it. The only person you're going to fail at that point, if you don't try it, is failing yourself. If you fall off the skateboard, fine. You know what? You tried it. It's the fact. The absolute fact that you tried it. The same applies for like trying new food, doing new experiences. Obviously, there are going to be things you're not going to want to do because, people may not like seafood. That's fine. Don't try seafood. You're scared of roller coasters. 100% fine. Don't go on roller coasters. If you're afraid of heights, probably don't try skydiving. As cool as an experience as it absolutely would be. Personally, I'd love to try it. I am a bit scared of heights, but just something about being free. That motivation that you're going to find is going to be something in you that's going to let yourself be free. Every time you find a reason you can't do something, you're digging yourself into a hole that's just deeper and deeper. You're not digging to Wonderland like Alice did when she went through the rabbit hole. You're digging a grave for your self-belief and motivation. You're digging 6 feet down. So why, instead of dig yourself down, why don't you build something up, right? If you're asking questions about why you can't do something, ask, what's stopping me? Build a platform. Build a platform of your beliefs and motivations, of ideas. You want to try and be a bird for a day? Heck, you know what? A 6-year-old will want to go be a bird. Let them flap their wings and go caw and have fun in the backyard. And you know what? Obviously, pending if they're your kid, join them. If they're not your kid, I probably wouldn't recommend it because that honestly would look really creepy. But try it. Do it. Go out. What do you have to lose, right? Like I said, I mentioned about the forest. When you're believing in yourself for self-betterment, there's different ways that you can push that forward for you. You're not just doing it for you. Sometimes it's applicable to a community. Like I say here, I'm a big believer. That's obviously why we have like a believe emote. There are times I'm not positive. There are times I get down low. And I try to keep it up because It's going to sound weird. A lot of people do tell me I'm positive, and sometimes to me it comes off as a bit of pressure because I feel like I have to keep off a faucet of I have to always be positive. And don't get me wrong, I love being positive. I am positive. But there's also times you have to recognize when you're not going to be positive and when it's okay to let the motivation drop. Believing in yourself and having self motivation is like two sides of a coin. Yes, you should believe in yourself. Yes, you should have motivation. But there are times when it is okay to not have those at all. It is okay to accept, I don't have the motivation to do this. Because while you don't have it at that time, that doesn't mean you're not going to get it. It doesn't mean it's not going to come back. It may just mean that's not the right time. And part of that's kind of recognizing what's in front of you and what's going on in your life. There's a really good book, guys, that I love, absolutely love. I have reread this book 5 times. It is called The Alchemist. It is by Paul Coelho. Fantastic book, not very long, 88 pages by like 8.5 and 11. But it tells the story of a boy named Santiago. He is a simple sheep herder going through his life to find his personal legend. The point of the book is everyone has a personal legend, and the world is always working with you to help you get to that personal legend. And to get to that legend requires, obviously, belief in yourself and motivation. You can't just sit around on the couch and be like, oh man, guys, oh, it's a good day. You know, life's just going to give me $20. Like, it doesn't work that way. You want something, you got to push for it. You got to have a reason to go for it. That reason is going to give you the way to get to it. What I wanted to kind of touch on with the book is, again, I mentioned about one of the messages. It's about the personal legend. But the other thing is the world will conspire to help you achieve it and presenting you different challenges in the way for you to overcome to get there. And every challenge has a lesson to take away. Always. Doesn't matter what it is. There is always a lesson to take away. Some days you may not recognize it right away. Sometimes you might recognize it 5 years down the road. But there's always a lesson to take away. And one of the biggest lessons that I learned from that book was in a small short story that was told to the main character. The main character was told about a man that wanted to go see the wisest person in the world. This wise man lived on the tallest mountain. He had all wonders and riches that would take your breath away. People would love to see, and people lined up to go and see. The man traveled on a journey to the wisest man. He wanted to know what his quest in life would be, his personal legend, or what things he could learn. Obviously, if you want to talk to the wisest man, you got to have something you're interested about. You don't just talk to someone wise without a reason. It's sometimes curiosity. It's sometimes interest. There's always an underlying reason. So he went to the man, and he said, I want to know some of the beauties in life. Can you show me your treasures? So the wise man says to him, yes, absolutely. You may view my treasures as you wish in full. But what I want you to do is take this spoon, a simple silver spoon, and in it is going to be filled with oil. Watch and view my treasures, take them in full, but please do not let the oil drop from the spoon. So the man goes through all the areas, passes through the paintings, the sculptures, the exotic pieces, everything in between. He comes back, and that whole time he was traveling through the wise man's home, his focus was on that spoon. He comes back to the wise man, and he says, I did as you asked. I made sure no oil dropped from the spoon. And the wise man goes, but did you not see my tapestries? Did you not see my statues, my sculptures, my different books on literature? And the man goes, no, I was so concentrated on the oil. The wise man says, well, go once again, but, watch the oil. But take the time to see the tapestries, view my arts, view my sculptures, view my libraries of books. So the man goes through a second time, comes back. He is in awe. His eyes are filled and sparkly. He is just filled with happiness and wonder on everything he has taken in. And the wise man goes to him and says, what did you think? And the man remains speechless. And then the wise man says, but I see you drop the oil. And the man goes, yes, I lost it in the sense of all the wonders. And so the wise man says, well, here is my lesson for you in life. Take in the wonders and everything that's around you, But don't forget what's in front of you. Everything in your life is an experience that's interacting with you. And I'll go back to the subject that I brought on the forest. Like I said, treat that story like a forest. Treat the people around you, your experiences, like a forest. You are a tree. Your roots are everything connected to you. Everything around you is connected, and there's different ways that they're going to influence you. And that's what's going to happen with the roots, or your trees, and photosynthesis. So personal motivation comes from within. Personal motivation can come from others. To start it, you should have it yourself. Your personal belief in yourself will work to generate that motivation. You will have a reason to want to get something done. You'll have a reason to push forward, things to achieve. And honestly, it kind of ties into why my favorite word is the word believe. If you want something, why not just believe you're going to get it done? Why let the world stop you? Why let something stop you? Why not believe you've got the ability to do it and push forward to it? The only thing stopping you at the end of the day is really yourself. You're your biggest enemy, which is a challenge in life to overcome. Your insecurities and fears are things to get over. Obviously, I know the question is going to come up, but what happens with things like anxiety? What about depression? Valid things and concerns. Well, you know what? If you're feeling anxious for the day and the biggest thing you do is get out of bed, doesn't that still deserve a clap on the back? Because you're dealing with something that's pressuring in your life. Anxiety and depression are real issues. They are things that impact people on a daily basis. I know friends that have had it. And I will get a call at 3 in the morning because it's been a while, thankfully, since that's happened. They've been doing good. But they've had issues where it's just been a struggle to even get a cup of coffee. And they're like, how do I even live with this in a day? And you wonder, if that's such a struggle, what do? You don't focus on the worry about it. You take in what you do in a day and be thankful for what you got done. I've suffered from anxiety too. I have been through some bad relationships in my days. One in particular was relatively bad. Don't want to get into the specifics. Not important at this time. I'm not here to create a sob story. But in that came an anxiety development from some emotional abuse. It kind of hit me hard. Wasn't good. And there would be days I would just struggle to get anything done. And, I read The Alchemist, and that was a big thing for me. That kind of helped me with the story. But the biggest lesson I kind of learned during that time was be thankful of what you can do in that time and phrase when you're going through that feeling. If you were just feeling like everything is against you in the day, take solace in the fact of what you did get done for the day. If you just have no motivation to do nothing and your only thing you did was step out for a cup of coffee for 2 minutes, well, fuck yeah, dude. You got an amazing cup of coffee. It was probably fucking delicious. And you still did something. You pushed through something and you got something done. And that can go for any challenge in life. No matter how hard something is. There's always a way to overcome it. It's not always going to be present. It's not always going to be easy to see. Sometimes it's lost in mysterious ways, and sometimes it requires friends. Sometimes it requires family. And I separate those for two distinct reasons, because different challenges require different people. Friends can be your family. Not always will your family be your friends. But there's different takes in with it, because your friends will have different experiences than your family. Right? If you've just met a person and you've only known them for a year, they've got a whole other bunch of years of experience you don't know anything about that might help you with your thing. Whereas family, you've known them for years, but they're going to know a side of you maybe you're not considering. They can open some light on because you're shrouded in some darkness you need to get through. And like I said, it'll tie back to the forest. There are roots in your life, your experiences, your interactions with people that you need to draw in and bring together. And that's what it's going to take, all in order to believe.